What up, what up, what up? This is RJ Fantasy Football Talk, and we back again. You know who I am? Rodney, you know who he is. It's JJ. What's going on, man?
Hey, nothing much, my man. It's a good week. Ready to stuff my belly with some turkey tomorrow.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
how
Definitely,
about you?
definitely.
How's it going?
I ain't making no noise, man. You know, around here cooking a little bit,
Yeah.
getting ready for tomorrow. So, hey, I'm kicking back tomorrow. I ain't doing that. So, hey, that's what I'm going to be doing. How was your week, though? How was your fantasy week?
Yeah. What?
It wasn't that bad, was it?
It was a mixed bag. It was like trying to remember off the top of it. I think it was 3-4. Yeah, it was 3-4. So won three, lost four, whatever. It's that time of the year. There's only a few games left. It's what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna barely sneak into playoffs in a couple of leagues, but I've been like at 500 like pretty much this entire season. Like I win a game, lose a game.
It's
Yeah,
it's it's been that type of season. I won. I did even worse. I went two for four this week.
yeah.
So I won in an important league, but I mean
Uh,
it's been mixed bad. I mean some leagues I'm
yeah.
7-4, 8-2, and some I'm 5-5, and I'm four and
Yep.
six. I mean it's it just it's
It's really
terrible in
great.
some. It's
I have one league where I've won 7 games. We play in that
yeah.
the first league we played together. Every other league, I am at just over 500 or below it. The funny part is, I've told the audience before, my wife is in her first year of playing fantasy football. She's doing better than me. I'm like, all right. Yeah, those
What's
are
her record?
nuts.
What's her record?
I think her record is she's won either 7 or 8 games. I can't remember, but
Oh wow.
she's first in her division. She was playing at the league. She's in 2 divisions. She's number one, and I think she's either the first or second in the league in scoring. So I'm
Well,
like, yeah,
I mean, we do have to kind of take credit for that because she is a part of R&J and she gets a lot of
yeah.
knowledge from us. So, hey, we get it at least.
She's our most loyal R&J fantasy football talk listener.
Exactly. So
So
she gets we get about 5% of
she
that.
she,
We'll
she
take about 5% of that
yeah.
credit. So,
Hey, since my teams are so bad, I told her already. Like, hey, you win the championship, I'm claiming it.
exactly. Hey,
I'm married, so we get it's 50-50 straight down the
oh,
line. So,
definitely. So, yeah. Hey, that's good.
but
Though.
yeah,
She's doing
but yeah,
good in
she's
there.
doing
Hey,
great. I don't know whether she likes it. It depends on the week. So, but all the frustration that we always talk about,
yeah.
she's experiencing it firsthand. She was like, "Why do you play this? This is so frustrating." So,
Hey, once it's
yeah,
addictive. Once you play that
exactly.
first year, it's like you're gonna want to come
It's
back and do it again.
Yeah,
So,
once you get a taste of it, it's like I
hell yeah,
can't let it
she
go.
gonna she
So,
gonna want more competition
oh
next year
yeah,
though.
I think
I'm
she's
gonna
gonna
tell you
play
that
again
now.
next year.
So I don't know. We'll see though.
Yeah,
But we got a good show for y'all. Like we always do. We always start off with the impact players of the week, like we always do. Um, we're gonna start off with the quarterbacks. So I'm gonna go ahead and first I'm gonna start off with Jared Goff. Had a big game.
yeah,
39 and 51, 376, 3 touchdowns. Deshaun Watson played well again. 28 to 37, 344, 2 touchdowns. Kirk Cousins. He don't normally make my list too much, but in a losing cause, 22 or 30, 314, 3 touchdowns. He got two really good receivers out there. So, hey, I don't know what he's going to do next year, but he played well last week. So, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he can make the list every week, honestly. So, 34, 45, 348, 2 touchdowns. And I got to show a little love to Cam Newton. Cam Newton, even in the loss, Cam put up pretty good numbers 26 of 40, 26 40, 365, and a touchdown. That's what I got for the quarterbacks. Those
yeah.
guys are the ones that stood out the most to me. What you got for me?
Hey, I got pretty much the same. We following the same line of thought. I also had written Cam because like Cam Newton making plays with his legs all year, but I was proud of him.
Yeah.
Of course, my number one guy, the guy who's keeping me in one of my leagues, Deshaun Watson,
Yes.
344 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's a one man show, and he's getting warmed up now. So
Definitely.
I think I might squeak in the league in the playoffs in that league where I have him. But other than that, same list as yours.
Yeah.
Here's a bad person that we've talked about he's been getting bashed a lot. Lamar Jackson, yeah.
Woo! I told you.
It's not looking good but hey, we'll talk about the Ravens a little bit later in the show because as everyone that's in fantasy or following NFL knows, we're not going to get our 3 Thanksgiving games. No. And he doesn't have a good matchup this week anyway. But more on that later. So, what about running backs?
So, I'm going to go to Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
I mean, what can you say about him? I mean, Lord, 133, had a game-winning touchdown on 28 carries. Dalvin Cook, again, over 100 yards, 1 touchdown, 27. Nick Chubb, since he's been back, he's been over 100 yards twice.
Yep.
114. And Zeke actually made the list.
Finally.
Yes. 103 on 21 carries. And I want to show some love to these 2 guys. They didn't do 100, but I think going into next year, they should be the man. Antonio Gibson, 94 yards and a touchdown on 16 carries. And we had a Jonathan Taylor sighting. Like we seen it. Like I don't know where it's been at, but they actually gave him the ball. 22 carries, 90 yards, no touchdowns. But just the 22 carries alone says a lot to that they know he's the better back out there than the other 2 guys. So they got to get him the ball. So we don't know what's going to be done going forward. But last week, I like what they did with him. Yeah. So they made my list. They didn't make my list as a top 4, but I had to give them a little star beside their name to say these 2 guys are somebody you can look forward to that's going to be doing work. So that's why I have.
Okay. I got the only thing about Jonathan Taylor that gets me is I wonder how many players actually had him in roster, in that starting lineup. Because I know I have Jonathan Taylor in one league, and he was sitting right on the bench where he's been for the past few weeks. But I actually, speaking of Zeke, I had Jonathan Taylor in one league, and I traded him to somebody for Zeke, and I was like, we're gonna see if this pays off because Jonathan Taylor was sort of scrubbish, if you will. And I was like, okay, I'm going to trade because Zeke wasn't doing great either. I figure at some point Zeke should warm up. So I'm hoping Zeke can keep it going for the next few weeks. The only other running back I don't know if you mentioned Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Did you say his name? Yeah. He played against the Raiders. So as you know, he got 2 rushing touchdowns because, if you're in the running game against the Raiders, you're going to have a good week because that's typically what we're really bad at defense.
That run defense is pretty bad.
The passing defense isn't great either. No. That's why Pat Mahomes was on the list. But
that Pat Mahomes. And like I said, he can make the list every week. If you really want to say that, but you got to mix it up. But those are the running backs. I really seeing Zeke up here, finally. My question is this the way they used Zeke last week, or they continue to use Zeke that way? Because they ran some different plays for him last week. It was like pitches to the left, and they ran him out to the right to throw out. He had a passing touchdown that he also had last week. So I don't know. I think they're trying to find ways to get him involved.
That's what I was going to say. He's the best player on the team by far. And so they're going to have to find ways to be creative because, they're going to hone in on him because you're not scared of Andy Dalton. No. Nobody is. So, they're going to have to be creative in finding ways to get the ball to him. So I think you'll probably see a lot more of that going forward. Starting tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely starting tomorrow. Yeah. So those are my running backs. I think those guys did work this week. And you know how we do. We're going to have a fresh crop of running backs next week. But we're going to slide to this tight end wide receiver thing. And, man, I don't know how I miss out on this guy every year, man. But Keenan Allen, man.
You remember before the season started, he was like, I'm the best wide receiver. And people was like, no, you got to be crazy. And he said he was going to put in the work. You remember I said Tyrod was going to hold him back. But if Herbert got in the game, Herbert was going to, and look, 16 receptions, 145 and a touchdown. I mean, and then you got, oh my gosh, Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. Both putting in work.
They had
Cooper Kupp put in too much work because I was playing again. I had Robert Woods. So I was watching that game. Like, will you stop passing to Cooper Kupp?
Yo,
Please.
Cooper Kupp put in that
he
work.
was killing it. Yeah. They couldn't cover him.
That's every week though.
Yeah.
That's every week. They the only ones. He the only ones they throw to. They had 23 receptions together.
Right.
We ain't even talking about targets. We talking about just the receptions alone.
Right.
It's crazy. So, but they had 75 yards together. Yeah. So definitely, they did work, and they had
275.
Robert Woods had a
You
touchdown.
meant to say. Didn't you? Oh, did you say 175 or
175? Yeah.
No, I think it's 275.
No, I'm sorry.
275. Yeah,
275. So
they had a lot of yards.
They had a lot of yards.
Yeah.
I mean, and then Adam Thielen. Did you see the catch?
Yeah.
Oh God! Second week in a row, one hand catch.
Uh-huh.
The catch was like, cause I thought he dropped it, and he caught that thing with one hand, held on to it, slid. He slid the right foot. I was like, I mean, but those two.
Yo,
it's funny. Those two receivers, him and Jefferson, gonna be dangerous.
Yeah,
definitely. They got them two-headed monster, and it's insane, man. So I like that group. And Demir Bird, I just don't know what to make of that situation, honestly. He had 6 receptions, 132, and a touchdown. But Myers was the guy for the last 3 weeks.
Right.
So I don't know, which way do you go with that? Do you trust in Bird, or do you put your stake in Myers?
I'm not gonna probably trust either one to produce on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
I want to say between the two, Jacoby Myers a bit more, like a skosh, a bit more, but it's close. It's one of those things. Well, here's the thing. Number one, do you think Cam Newton has more games like he did last week? My guess is probably not. And if not, then I'm going to go with Jacoby Myers because he can do more in the offense. We've seen him throw touchdowns.
Touchdowns,
so,
yeah.
You know.
I mean, with Cam, you just don't.
Yeah.
It's iffy. Cam throw really about 175 to 200 yards per game as far as passing. The rest of it is running. He'll get 80 to 100 yards rushing.
Cam Newton is an old Lamar Jackson. So it's one of those things. I'm not resting my fantasy team on his arm unless I absolutely have to.
Well, he did work in fantasy last week.
He did last week.
Had him last week. They got some points, so we don't know. But that's my list. Who do you
Travis Kelce.
No. I didn't reach your tight ends yet.
We usually do wide receivers and tight ends together.
Okay. Well, Travis Kelce.
There you go.
8 receptions, 127.
Greatest tight end in the game.
Yeah. Second best.
Well, Kittle's not in the game right now, so
whatever. Mark Andrews.
Okay.
Finally coming alive. 5 receptions, 96 yards and a touchdown. And I get your boy Darren Waller, 7 receptions, 88 yards and a touchdown. I mean, those 3 tight ends, they should do work every week, honestly. Just because they're in what they're top 5 easy, top 4 easy tight ends in the league. So I would definitely give them that. So those are the wide receiver tight ends that I have. So what do you have for me over there?
Oh, I just had to interject Travis Kelce. So everyone else on your list, I also had on my list. So
I guess
I will say though, DJ Moore, I'm back on the bandwagon.
Come on,
you tried to get me off of it for a second. Me and DJ Moore, we riding to the top.
I seen that.
You better be ready.
I seen his numbers. And I was like, DJ Moore.
DJ Moore is finally at the end of the season when it's probably too late for you if you drafted him early. But you know.
But
he
I will say this: I showed him some love about 2 weeks.
You did. I said we've got it on film that you're coming over to my side. That DJ Moore is better than Robbie Anderson.
I was coming over to your side with DJ Moore. I don't know why.
DJ Moore's being nice. He said,
"Believe that." Not even a little bit.
A little bit though.
Curtis Samuel. And
Curtis Samuel was probably like the steal if you got, because you know that's one you probably picked up very late or even off the waivers.
That's what I'm saying. So
he's putting in work for you.
How can you say DJ Moore when you got Curtis Samuel there? And No, you can't. They got too many. I
they
ain't
got
saying
hey, they have three very good wide receivers. So
they do.
yeah,
I mean,
this
they
is
good, but DJ Moore is probably like second in the pecking order.
we'll,
We ain't
we'll see
saying
how
no,
it
but
goes.
okay. I mean, they did well with
Yeah,
a backup quarterback
right.
in PJ. PJ did well, so
Yeah, he
you
did.
know,
Surprising
we'll see.
because I did
Surprising.
not expect much from their passing game last week.
I didn't either,
Yeah,
but he won a lot of games in I guess the XFL where he came
yeah.
from. So he produced. So we'll see. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. So
Yeah.
so that's what I got. Wide receivers, tight ends. But we got some waiver wire pickups if you need them. Obviously, you use them. Taysom Hill, 43% rostered. We're gonna talk about this though. We're gonna
Yeah,
stay on this for a
we
few
gonna
minutes.
we come put a little pin in that one. We coming back to
Yeah,
Taysom
we're gonna
Hill.
come back to that one.
Yeah.
Andy Dalton only 10%. If you need him, that's
Mm.
only if you need him. I'm not saying go out and get him, but he's a quarterback as if you need one. James White and somebody else because Rex Burkhead took a bad knee
Yeah,
injury. So he's out for a while probably. Russell Gage, Julio Jones has got
it's
a
questionable. Yeah,
questionable this week. So Russell Gage came in and he had 11 receptions last week. So that's somebody else you can take a look at if you need receiver help again. But it's a ton of receivers out there though, honestly,
yeah.
in fantasy right now. So I'm not saying he's your first pecking order to go grab, but definitely
But it's
in that
out there.
offense, yeah, he definitely could use him. He's definitely gonna get his because they're gonna throw to him because he's the second receiver at this point now if Julio doesn't play. So if you got anybody you'd like to add, go ahead and let people know.
Now, at this point in the season, the waivers are strictly there for if you have an injury. Because at
Yeah.
this point, if you haven't discovered them by week 12, they're probably not that good. So I had the same names you had. I think I also had a possible on Jordan Reed for this week.
Mm,
If you like I said, it's only
that's
in case of like extreme like break glass in case of emergency. At this point, in waiver wires, there's not a lot out there. But we do have our first question from Clamped Easy. I like this, and I already know my answer. J.D. McKissick or Ezekiel Elliott? Who are you playing this week? Well, who are you playing tomorrow?
I'm on the fence with Zeke,
Uh huh.
but I like JD. I like
I love me some
I
JD.
love JD. I
Right.
love JD. It's just I'm inspired a little bit the way they used Zeke last week. I think
Yeah.
they just came up with some plays and they mixed it in a little bit. I seen them
Mm-hmm.
actually put Zeke in and they used him many different ways. So I would go with Zeke over JD because JD is sharing the backfield with Gibson. Even though JD gets a lot of the passes out of the backfield, I think I'm I'm like 49-50 going Zeke on this one. I'm gonna go Zeke. I'm
You're
gonna
gonna
go
go
Zeke
Zeke
on
on
this.
this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Zeke on this one.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Zeke too, and only gonna go Zeke on this one because of our always statement. Who do? You go with your stud guys,
Go
and
with the stud,
Ezekiel
especially
Elliott
this
is
time of
that
the year.
stud guy.
Definitely.
Now, here's the tempting part about we've been talking J.D. McKissick for at least the last 2 or 3 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and the Washington football team. let me get it right. They're gonna probably be passing a lot tomorrow,
Oh
which
yeah,
means it's gonna be a good day because hey, like you said, J.D. McKissick, he doesn't get carries, but he gets receptions,
a lot
like
of them.
basically like a wide. Other than Terry McLaurin, so used to call him Scary Terry. I almost messed it up. J.D. McKissick is that receiving guy, and so I kind of want to be tempted to pick him tomorrow, but I have to stay to the principle. Do the guy who's your stud. I'm going Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah,
But
I'm going.
I think they're going to both have pretty decent games tomorrow.
I mean,
One because it's Thanksgiving,
yeah,
so you have the Cowboys and Detroit that typically play even when they're really bad teams. They may not win, but they play fairly well on Thanksgiving days, um, and so I think I think,
I mean,
despite the fact that the front four of Washington is so good, I think Ezekiel Elliott, like you said, they're going to be creative. They're going to find ways to use him. But just because that Dallas defense is still awful, I think McKissic's going to have a good day.
I mean, honestly, you got to throw the records out when they play.
Yeah.
At this point, you
Plus,
throw the
yeah,
records
exactly.
out.
Plus the division rivals. So
Yeah, throw the records out, and they want to beat each other so bad.
of course, both of their records are so bad. You kind of want to throw those out anyway, right?
Throwing them out regardless. So yeah, right. I mean, Zeke, I'm telling you, I don't know if it's a redemption game from last week, but I just think the way they used Zeke last week was really different. They came with a different game plan, and it got him involved early.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really him and CeeDee Lamb, but he opened that passing game up because the focus was on him so much. So Zeke is definitely the one I'm rolling with, but JD is.
Me too.
I'm starting JD in one of my leagues, so JD is definitely getting that work. So
if I have a flex spot, that's where JD McKissic is going, right?
Yeah, throwing JD in there.
I feel you.
Definitely.
All right, Clamp DZ, thank you for the question. We appreciate it, and thanks for watching the show.
So I want to talk a little bit about this Taysom Hill guy. You know, we know we had conversation off the show, behind the scenes.
Yeah.
In the league that you commish and I co-commish, and I felt some sort of way how ESPN handled this. ESPN, I feel like they dropped the ball on this, even though he has been labeled a tight end the whole season. But I made a comment to you, and he has played tight end less than 5% this whole entire season. So my thing is, how do you list him as a tight end when he has not played the tight end position no more than 5% this year out of 12 games?
Yeah.
And they pretty much gave people, they actually changed it this week. But I'm hearing also, if you keep him in the lineup, you're going to get the points from him that he get this week, which is crazy to me because it should be forced for you to take him out of the lineup. That's what I've been hearing. I don't know how true that is, though.
I thought you had to. I don't have Taysom Hill, so I haven't been able to. But the league that we're talking about, I know the guy. He moved him to his bench.
But what I'm saying is,
if you left him, you're saying if you left him in tight end, you didn't take him out,
you would still get the points or whatever. That's what I read. That you would still get the points if you left him in the lineup, which is crazy to me. Why would you? It's crazy. Like, he can go 30, 40 points, whatever he puts up. So in that particular league that we're in, he would get 30. He got 35 points last week. So just say 35. He's flipping that tight end position when it's not needed because he doesn't play tight end. If that's the case, he played one snap at tight end last week. That's not fair to the opponent that's playing against him.
Yeah, I don't. I haven't seen that particular feed, but yeah, that would seem crazy to me because if they took out the eligibility, you would think that you would have to move him out of that spot. Yeah, because going back, like we said, the origin of the story is for if you guys are fantasy football, you already know Taysom Hill was a quote unquote tight end, and in a lot of leagues, this only really affected ESPN for the most part. I think DraftKings also, but for people that play not daily but regular fantasy football, if you're on ESPN was the only platform that had that dual eligibility for him, and I think it was a very bad look for ESPN because they said in the offseason that they knew this could be a possibility, and if at some point Taysom Hill became the starter, they had the right to remove that tight end eligibility from him, and then for a week. And I know they had to get a lot of complaints because I was one of them that wrote in and was like, you have to change this. And so they did. But if it's some loophole where as long as you never take them out of that spot, you still get points. That's insane.
I just pulled it up. So, and it says, so the question was, what if I leave Hill in the starting lineup spot other than quarterback going forward, would I still get points for his scoring. And it says if Hill is left in at tight end flex, wide receiver, tight end slot, users will be unable to make any roster or lineup moves until they remove him.
Okay.
But if a user chooses to not remove him from the slot, the user will receive points from Hill's performance.
Okay, I get it now. So since they can't physically move people out of your lineups, they're just saying if you basically have to keep that exact same lineup for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
But the moment you take them out of that spot, okay, that I get it. That's still crazy, but I get that. Yeah. That's more from a standpoint. In fact, it jogged something because I saw a Twitter post someone did, and now it makes sense to me. Where they said their commissioner told them they had to take Taysom Hill out of their lineup, and so I guess that's why. Because at first I was like, why would you have that be an issue anyway? Because he's no longer a tight end. But all right, if that's the case. Yeah, I mean that's a weird. Probably it's a thing that they're not able to automate, where they can move your roster around. So, but I think at that point, as a commit, because last week we had this debate on whether players should be allowed to do that, and I felt as commissioner they should be allowed to keep Taysom Hill as a tight end because ESPN had him eligible as tight end. So. In our particular league, I said, hey, the guy can play him as long as ESPN makes him eligible. But the moment ESPN doesn't do that as a commissioner, I feel that you're now allowed to bring the hammer and say, no, this is not an eligible player. Take him out of your lineup. In fact, as a commissioner, I would take the person out of the lineup myself because you can do that. And I'm like, look, you're going to have to make this change because it's not, at this point, it's no longer fair. Last week, it was stupid but fair. This week, you're literally going against the rules. So no.
And that's what it says. Like the final statement says, however, if your league deems that this is unfair, the league managers have the ability to move Hill out of the starting lineup from any team in the league.
And I would definitely do that.
So I just feel like say there's a guy that keeps Hill in that lineup and they don't want to make no moves at all for the remainder of the season. But just say, for instance, they got a really good lineup and Hill is in that lineup.
It's some teams that could work as long as you don't get an injury. There's a team that you could probably get away with that with. But yeah, that one I would say that's on the commissioner to say no. We're gonna enforce the same rules as ESPN has. So
I like honest and on one end because I wear two hats. I wear the commissioner hat and I wear the player hat. I felt bad from a commissioner standpoint. But I didn't feel bad from a player's standpoint, if that makes sense, because it's more of a disadvantage because that person was in my division. But at the same time, as commissioner or co-commissioner of this league, I came to, because we put our heads together. What people don't realize is we run a league together, honestly. We run two leagues together. Yeah. So we come together, we talk about more than, obviously it's more than R&J, but we talk about our leagues and what we can do to make it better. In decisions like this, we have to come aboard and we have to talk about. And like I told him, I was like, I would have stopped it right then and there last week. But he made the right decision because ESPN deemed it was okay. And it was just ESPN, and I want to say it was somebody else that had.
It was a daily, like I said, I think it was DraftKings. It was one of the daily fantasy, but all the normal fantasy leagues were like, no, he hasn't been the tight. ESPN's the only crazy guy out there that had him with that tight end quarterback eligibility.
Yeah, I don't.
It was insane. Yeah. I think, like I said, in our discussions, I think it made sense until he became the starter. And especially with ESPN saying in the offseason, if he becomes the starting quarterback, they'd strip it away. The fact that they didn't strip it away on the first week it happened, it's like y'all didn't even keep your word, because it's like you say, it's an obvious competitive disadvantage.
Well, I ain't gonna say similar, but I bring up a question to you. So what if they added a running back slot, a quarterback / running back slot to Lamar Jackson? Because Lamar Jackson did lead. He was seventh in rushing.
Insane. Right.
He was seventh in rushing last year with 1,200 yards. Yeah. He's the number one quarterback in rushing this year. So how would that, if you did that for Lamar Jackson, you make him a quarterback / running back or quarterback / receiver.
Right.
Is that's a disadvantage going because you
Yeah.
could use him at the quarterback position or the running back position as needed.
Yeah.
So it's not fair. I mean, if you're gonna do it for him, you got to do it for everybody else. That's a combo of Cam Newton is one. Cam Newton run the ball a lot. I mean, you just got to.
Yeah.
It's
But
a lot of guys that
the
play.
difference, like I said, on that is these are quarterbacks who run the ball. They're not listed by their teams as a running back, even though
Okay.
they're, for all intents and purposes, they're running backs. Lamar Jackson is
Yeah.
a running back. He's
He's a running
the
back.
lead
Exactly.
rusher on his team, like for the past 2 years.
That's
So
what I'm saying.
he is, but the team has him listed as quarterback. So that's the only difference between Taysom Hill. Taysom Hill is actually listed by the team as a tight end, even though he's not. He's like you said, he doesn't play in the tight. He plays pretty much anywhere on the field. He's a gadget guy. He's the modern day Cordell Stewart. Throwback a real old reference. But,
Yeah, that's a lot of people, a lot
yeah.
of kids don't know about Cordell. So
Yeah, but
I mean, you have like Cordell Patterson, who's in most leagues he's tagged as a running back / wide receiver.
Yeah, he's officially listed in both spots, right?
As both spots. So I mean, certain players get that tag, but I just think if you have that guy that does multiple things, yes, I get it. But if they get to one position only,
the one thing that makes it different is because the quarterback position is so big, it changes the perception of everything. You said, a Cordell Patterson, running back, wide receiver, who cares which one you put him in? But if you're talking about tight end versus quarterback,
yeah, that's different.
whole new ball game. So
yeah, more points.
Like I said, fortunately they got it right now. It's sad that they had the over. So somebody lost an important. I just hope, even though I know what's going to happen, someone's playoff life wasn't decided off last week because sometimes it's just one game that can make all the difference. And for somebody on both sides, someone's going to get in the playoffs probably on that one game, and someone's going to miss it, and it's all going to they're going to be yelling and probably never using ESPN again because something like that. So they messed it up themselves. So
I'm gonna put that dream to bed for him this week. Don't you worry about that. So, I got him this week, so I'm gonna put that dream to bed. Yeah, so he ain't got to worry about making the playoffs no more. Speaking of Lamar Jackson, let's talk about Lamar Jackson. I've been on a bashing spree lately.
Yeah, you've been mean to my man. I'm in Baltimore, so I feel the need to come to his defense.
I'm not in Baltimore.
Not a whole lot though.
I'm gonna keep bashing them.
Yeah.
I've been saying this all year. Lamar Jackson he is out of the top 20 quarterbacks going into next year, and it's showing. I don't know what he can do better to get himself back in that conversation. And I kind of do. I take that back. He needs to learn how to throw the ball.
Yeah. Well, he needs. I would say he has to throw the ball to other than Mark Andrews and Hollywood Brown, but apparently he doesn't throw to Hollywood Brown anymore. He only throws to Willie Snead.
Yeah.
And Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews is a constant, no matter what. But
exactly.
He's got to get better at distributing the ball, and quite frankly, out of his hands, I think they have to. I think Harper has to do better job at coaching and helping them make adjustments. Because I liked last year how they wrapped the offense around Lamar Jackson, but I don't think the offense has evolved since last year. So, all right, it's year 2 of him as the starting quarterback. You got to step it up because what worked last year isn't going to work this year. And I don't think they've made that step forward.
Well, this is the thing. Like, people get film. So last year they ran a certain style of plays for Lamar Jackson. But the film is out now. So when you go all season, you go film work, you do all of that. But the thing is, him making that offense a little bit better, he has to do his part too at the same time, because you can't just, if you watch Lamar Jackson, and I've been saying this, his first read is Mark Andrews and his second read is to run. It's never a first, second, third read, and then once you get into that trouble, then decide to run. If Mark Andrews ain't open, he's dropping down and he's running the ball. You can't win like that when they know and they keep a spy on you. So at the end of the
Yeah.
day, you can't win like that. He need to really work on his passing. Like it's all cool to run the ball. Don't get me wrong, but I would hate to see him get hurt like a RG3 did, like and tear that knee up or something like that, because he's too gifted as an athlete. At the end of the day, we don't need that from him. But he need to work on his accuracy. Is terrible. Can't get the ball down the field. He throw a lot of duck wobbly balls, so you see that.
Yeah.
And he need to go through his progressions a little bit more.
I think that's the biggest thing. I'm gonna brag on my guy Derek Carr. If you were watching that game the other night, they talked about how he's basically John Gruden's brain has been implanted into Derek Carr, and he's going through. You see him searching the entire field, left to right, and then make it. He might even go back to the first gap, but he scanned the entire field to see what's out there. That's where Lamar Jackson isn't quite there yet. So
I mean,
I think there's hope for him, but I think they really have to put some work in this overtime.
Yeah,
I mean not overtime, this off season, because it's not going to change this year. I don't think.
If he has to work with a real quarterback coach.
Yeah.
Like honestly, he needs to get with a quarterback coach because like Lamar Jackson. And I'm not doing a comparison at all, but Lamar Jackson reminds you of a Steve Young, but he's just not left-handed. Steve Young couldn't run, but Steve Young could pass also. Mm-hmm. So, but Lamar Jackson is a better runner than it's more like, you remember Randall Cunningham? Randall Cunningham was a great runner, but Randall Cunningham could also throw the ball at the same time. He didn't have those issues with accuracy. Lamar Jackson needs to work on that, and I think he can. But he has to be more dedicated to that part of the game for him to take that next step. Because right now, you got quarterbacks coming in that's going to take his spot as far as fantasy rankings.
Okay, fantasy. How about that? I don't think he's in fantasy
rankings.
I thought you meant like for the Ravens. I was like,
no, not for the Ravens. No.
Okay.
Fantasy rankings.
Yeah.
You got quarterbacks coming in that's going to definitely take.
Oh, for certain. He's going to drop. He was the number 2 quarterback this year. He's not going to be probably, and I wouldn't even say he's going to be maybe top 10 in some rankings. In my personal rankings, when we do R&J list of quarterbacks, he won't be that high. No, he won't be. He's going to fall a lot, I think. We had him in our top tier. If he's lucky enough to get in the bottom of the second tier, but it's probably going to go third tier, I'm guessing. With us.
I'm going third tier. He's right outside of 20 for me right now.
Yeah, I still have him higher than 20, but not by much. Not by much, though.
I'm telling you, 20 is probably the 20 outside of 20 for me, unless something changes.
No, I mean, I'm not going to fight too much on it just because he's been really bad this year. It's just one of those things. He's gotta get better because while, like you said, the rushing is nice, but you got to add something else to it. Like our new favorite quarterback, Josh Allen. He'll do it with his legs, but he can throw it around as well.
And we have talked so bad about Josh Allen. I mean, dude, like from the beginning of the year, we talked so bad about Josh Allen. People start hating us for that. But
right.
One guy in particular. What Josh Allen proved us wrong, and Josh Allen.
Well, he hasn't proven us completely wrong. His passing percentage is better, and it's good, but he still has his iffy moments. But
Josh Allen only threw for 3,000 yards last year.
Yeah,
a little over 3,000. He's probably gonna hit 4,500. I'm assuming this year. Between 45.
What you're seeing with Josh Allen is progression, and like that's what we haven't seen yet from Lamar Jackson compared last year to this year. He's reverted. He's not as good. Josh Allen has gotten better each year, and that's
I agree
with
you on that.
Lamar has to do. So.
I mean, Justin Herbert gonna take his spot. Justin Herbert not sliding.
Justin Herbert already has that spot for me. Justin Herbert's a star.
Man, Justin Herbert,
He's
man,
a star.
That kid. I want to say tier 1 next year.
Ooh, that's
tier
high.
1.
That's high.
I mean, look what he's doing. I mean,
that's still pretty high.
I mean, uh, my list probably gonna
Yeah.
change by next
It's
year, but
early, right? We'll see.
yeah, but I mean, because it's gonna be a lot of moving parts, so you just don't know. But Justin Herbert definitely, if not a low tier one, a definitely high tier two,
Yeah,
going into next year, definitely. So
I'm
I
with
don't
that.
know, but yeah, man, it's
Well,
that. But
staying on Lamar Jackson. Well, more so talking his team since it is Thanksgiving tomorrow.
mhm.
Um, the other news story is we're not going to have the typical triple header. So tomorrow night, you're going to have to find something better to do. Maybe spend some time with the family being stuffed and full. And you can't, and, watch a movie or something because the Ravens Steelers game has been pushed to Sunday. So
I'm a little upset about that.
it's an upsetting thing. Apparently, what they're saying now, they're disciplining one of their strength and conditioning coaches, who didn't report his symptoms,
Uh,
and they think he might be the one who spread the COVID around the team. So now, both J.K. Dobbins and Mark Ingram were had positive tests for COVID, and then there's been other players added to the list since then. So, hmm.
I, I just don't know what to say about this whole COVID thing because obviously we all know throughout the world is really
Yeah.
bad and it's spreading. Like the second wave is bad, obviously. So I just feel like they're not containing it like they was earlier in the year.
Right.
But I don't think a lot of teams are following protocol either when it comes to.
The Raiders haven't been.
Well, we know the Raiders don't. The Raiders, the whole
Right.
defense is like on the COVID list. Y'all like the party
Not
during the week.
anymore. We're better now.
No, no,
That
no.
was last week. You bringing up
Okay.
old stuff.
Next week you're gonna have about 5, 6 people on the COVID list talking
We'll
about,
see.
yeah, they had another party or something. Somebody came in the locker room or something. We actually the 49ers, they having problems too with
Yeah.
COVID. I just don't. It's just crazy, man. Honestly, like I'm afraid they're gonna postpone more than just that one game with the
Yeah.
spread like it is. So they may even cancel a game and kind of.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, they won't have to, but it's hard. I mean, we're right now with this third wave. We're at higher numbers than we've been the
Mm-hmm.
first two times. So
Yeah.
we'll have to see what happens. They already have their contingency plan. We might end up seeing those 8 teams in the
That'd be
playoffs
good.
if they have to cancel some other ones. So
Yeah, we need
fingers crossed that that's not the case.
we need those 8 teams, by the way.
You want an extra chance for your 49ers squeaking in.
Shh. Don't say
The-
nothing. It's okay.
they're not going to get in even if it.
Shh. We're getting in there. Don't worry about
Okay.
it.
And that makes you feel good.
It does. I mean, hey, look, hey, we got a shot.
Yeah.
Don't kill my dreams, okay? Please.
Nah.
It's okay over here. Jeez. But actually, people, tonight we're gonna blend some stuff here tonight. We're gonna blend some stuff. We are gonna blend the Wednesday show and the Saturday show. So you can get it all in one before Thanksgiving to fill your brain up with all types of fantasy talk. So what we do normally, you know how we do on Saturdays, we pick games, we go over your impact players.
Right.
And normally we go over the games. So we both have 8 games this week. So I want to say you started last week, right?
Yeah, I did. So
Okay. So I'm gonna start this week, and you already know how I do. I'm gonna start with my boys. And obviously it's the 49ers at the Rams. And obviously you'll be playing Debo because he should be coming off that injury in the / COVID list. Raheem Mustard should be back. Brandon Ayuk is on the COVID list. We don't know if he's gonna play yet though. But we'll see. The Rams, you got Jared Goff, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods. Those running backs, you just don't know which one to play. But I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna go ahead and say that my boys is gonna win this week in the surprise pick. So
just to let you know up front, I'm gonna try to clip this together. So if you missed it today, then we'll have this ready for you on Saturday. We're gonna clip this part out for y'all, but I'll keep it going, and I'm gonna start with the Thanksgiving game. I'm gonna go with Detroit versus the Texans. And my opinion on the Detroit Lions is they play, like I said earlier, they play better on Thanksgiving. In fact, they are 37-41-2 since they started doing Thanksgiving games, but they've lost the last 3. And I think they're going to lose again because, quite frankly, the Texans are a better team than they are. And that shutout last week really had me saddened by how good the Lions are. But you're still going to play Stafford. He's going to has great games on Thanksgiving. Usually gets over 300 yards. You're going to go with, I want to say Marvin Jones because Kenny Galladay is out. And T.J. Hawkinson should be good. And for Houston, you're going to do Deshaun Watson. You're going to put in Fuller and, of course, Brandon Cooks. Duke Johnson let you down last week, so you might stay away from him. But, I wouldn't play him. But if you need to, he should be a good flex spot. The Lions defense isn't good, so go for it.
Duke Johnson played terrible last week. I just don't
understand.
He was
bold.
He got all of the carries. He got 100% of the carries.
He has no competition.
I don't understand it. Like, how do you play that bad? I'm gonna pick Matthew Stafford. He for some reason on Thanksgiving he just plays well. But I got to go with Deshaun Watson on this one. I think Deshaun Watson is cooking right now, and I'm a big believer in Deshaun Watson. I think once they get him a good receiver, a number 1 receiver out there, he gonna be back to his old ways that he had with Hopkins out there. So I'm riding with Deshaun Watson on this one. So definitely. Right. Well, you know, we got another Thanksgiving game, and it's the Washington football team, and the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to surprise people, and I'm going to go with the Washington football team on this. Alex Smith is going to win comeback player of the year. He's been playing awesome. Gibson, JD, also, you can start him. I would say Zeke, CeeDee Lamb with an amazing case last week, but I would stay away from Dalton if you do not need him. I'm picking this to be a dogfight, close game because it's 2 divisions. We have 2 teams in the same division, big rival. They don't like each other. Throw out the records, but the Redskins can pull this thing out, though. I'm sorry, the Washington football team.
The Washington football team. Hey, how many years of your life have they been the Washington football team?
Exactly.
Exactly. A matter of months. I've been going for the Washington football team a lot this year, but turn the tables. I'm actually going to pick the Cowboys to win this one.
Gosh.
It's Thanksgiving. I'm not picking against the Cowboys on Thanksgiving.
Okay, I guess whatever. Okay, whatever.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep it going. My next game I'm talking about is the Carolina Panthers and the Minnesota Vikings. Now, this game you got to really check back later this week to see what happens with Adam Thielen's injury. If he doesn't play, Justin Jefferson is going to have a monster game. Somebody else has to put in that work to help out. You already know Dalvin Cook, but maybe you stream Kyle Rudolph. Only if Adam Thielen doesn't play. For Carolina, I like Teddy Bridgewater this game. Like we discussed earlier, they have 3 dynamite wide receivers. I'm comfortable putting any of those guys in. And it looks like Christian McCaffrey is going to miss another one, so Mike Davis is going to be a really good play. DJ Moore, best wide receiver in the Carolina. I'm not letting off, buddy.
He's second in the pecking order. But
did I mention the Panthers are winning? I don't think I said the Panthers are winning, but the Panthers are winning.
I want to pull for Carolina on this one. Okay. I think I'm with Carolina. So Carolina should win this one. Should be a tough matchup, though. I think it'll be close.
Yeah, this should be a really good game because the Vikings can put some work in, but I think the Panthers are better. I think, especially if Adam Thielen misses this game, it's definitely going to be the Panthers in that case.
You know what? I'm gonna flip that. I'm going Minnesota because I feel like, and I'm gonna tell you why. Minnesota, Dalvin Cook. Dalvin Cook.
And that Carolina rush defense isn't great. It isn't
terrible.
Great.
I just thought about it. I'm gonna go with Minnesota on this one. Because I got to get some more victories on this thing against you. So,
by the way, the games were not good in our group. I actually had the best week, and it was not good. But
Oh my gosh, I
Last
looked
week,
at it and
picking
I was
games
like,
was not good, but that's
oh
a
no,
story for another day.
yes. And I'm gonna go to this next game, which is I think is a really really good game. You got the Los Angeles Chargers and you got the Buffalo Bills. Um, Obviously you going Herbert, you going Keenan Allen, you going Mike Williams. Eckler supposed to be coming back this week. So we're gonna see what happens with that. If he comes back, you insert him in the lineup instantly. Josh Allen, Diggs, Cole Beasley's been balling lately. But I'm gonna go and put my. I'm gonna go and say Buffalo wins this. I think Josh Allen has a good game, but I think it's gonna be a shootout though. So between Herbert and Josh Allen, you're looking at the future as far as quarterbacks with those two guys. So I'm definitely gonna say Josh Allen though. He's gonna pull this thing out.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like Buffalo in this one for all the reasons. I think they're a better overall team.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Herbert is great for your fantasy team. I don't think they're gonna win. They seem to find ways to lose games, and so
Yes.
yeah,
Well, that's just because he young, he
he's
a
young.
rookie.
Yeah,
He don't know how to win those games yet. It's just like with Josh Allen
it's
last year.
gonna take
Josh
time.
Allen didn't know how to win the games at the end. He know how to do it now, but Herbert gonna have
Sometimes,
to learn that sometimes.
yeah,
But
sometimes.
Herbert he gonna have to learn that going into next year. But you're right. This year, yeah, I don't see it happening. But
Yeah.
yeah,
But I am hopefully looking forward to getting Austin Eckler back. If
yes,
not
me
this
too.
week, hopefully definitely by next week. But yeah, there's thought that he could play this week. So
Yeah,
he's been on injured reserve for my team for a while. I'm waiting to put him back in. But I'm gonna keep it rolling with my next game. It's the Giants at the Bengals. I don't need time. No, don't do this. Don't do this. The Bengals are gonna be playing somebody named Brandon Allen. We saw him play 3 games last year for 46.4% percentage completion, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Stop. I love T Higgins, but don't do it. If you want to gamble with the Giants, put in Shepard or Darius Slayton. Wayne Gallum is probably your best bet, but no, just for me, I don't want this game in my life. Sterling
yeah,
Shepard, I probably feel fairly decent about because the Bengals defense is good, but I still don't like this game. This this is trash quarterback versus trash quarterback. You talked about Justin Herbert and Josh Allen being the future of quarterbacks. I
yeah.
think the as much as I thought Danny Dimes was going to be good, he's garbage, and we already know that without Joe Burrow,
Yeah,
they're garbage. That's the saddest thing, his injury for last year, because he was
oh,
looking really good, and he's not going to play anymore this year. Probably not going to play next year either.
that injury reminded
Yeah.
me of a Alex Smith injury.
Mm.
It reminds you of that because they saying ACL, MCL, other structural damage.
Mm.
Not like what Alex Smith needed. What 20 was it 20
17
17 or 18
surgeries, I think he had.
surgeries?
But a lot of
So I
his
don't.
was because it got infected afterwards. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to be one of those things that's going to take some time. Another example is Teddy Bridgewater when he played for Minnesota and he had a similar I can't remember whether it was an ACL or MCL. I think it was his ACL, and then he also dislocated his knee.
Yeah.
And same thing like Alex Smith. It's going to take a while for him to get back to
Yeah.
who
And
he
that hit was nasty
who he
though.
was showing himself to be. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
That
nasty.
hit
Yeah,
that hit was nasty
yeah,
though. That was, and you seen it like when you see it, it's like you cringe and you
yeah.
turn away because it's that bad. But uh
Oh, I didn't say
uh
who was going to win that whole offense. Why not? The Giants are going to win that game because the
yeah
Bengals have Brandon Allen
yeah
playing quarterback.
they
So
should
there you
win
go.
that game. I'm gonna go with the Giants too.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna go to my next game, and I don't need much time for this game. Cleveland obviously is gonna win. It's Cleveland Browns against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Cleveland should win this, but I'm not hanging my hopes on nothing with that quarterback they call Baker Mayfield. The only people you can play from this game is Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Um, Baker Mayfield can't even get the ball to his receivers, so no. And James Robinson is the only player you playing from Jacksonville. Cleveland should win this because they're just a better team, honestly, but not on the hands of Baker Mayfield. So,
Yeah, I think they win the game with the running game and their defense. That's it.
yep,
That's all they need because The Jaguars are not good. They won
Nope.
one game all year. They're not going to win in Cleveland. I don't think they shouldn't.
No, they shouldn't.
All right. So my next game is the Las Vegas Raiders. That's right. Playing against the Falcons. This is my no defense at all game. It comes with a warning, though, because I have not been good with these games that I think should be just high-powered offense, but I don't see how this one's not. So I'm playing anyone throwing the ball, anyone touching the ball. if they're playing, I'm putting them in the lineup, especially if, like you said, we still have to wait to see what's happening with Julio Jones and even Calvin Ridley and Hayden Hurst. They're all question marks. Hopefully all will be starting, but if not, Russell Gage is there to fill in your lineup too. But you're starting everybody, because this is going to be points all over the place.
Yes.
And the Raiders are winning because they're the best team. So the Raiders are the best team. Go ahead, just say it out loud. You know it's true. You know it's true.
I think I'm going to go with Atlanta on this one, man. They got to bounce back from last week.
Okay.
They got to bounce back. I told you I got to catch up with you.
That ain't the way.
I got to catch up with you. I'm going with Atlanta on this one. I could be wrong, but I'm definitely going with Atlanta. I think they got to bounce back. They had a poor game last week. But Matt Ryan is better than that.
Matt Ryan put up -1 points in one of the leagues I'm in last week.
I can believe it.
This team, this league, you get penalized for sacks. He got sacked 8 times last week. The Raiders don't have a pass rush for real, but if they gave up 8 sacks, I think the Raiders are going to at least get 2. So
that's why I'm keeping my fingers crossed that he's somewhere else next year.
Right.
So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. So we're gonna see.
Right.
I'm gonna go on my next Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah.
And the New England Patriots. Kyler Murray, Hopkins, Christian Kirk been playing well. Even Kenyon Drake been playing well. Cam, Damian Harris, James White. Those receivers, pick one. We just don't know which one going to do work. I'm going Arizona in this one. They should win this game because New England is not that good, but we don't know. But I feel like Arizona should win this game because they have the better quarterback and receiver tandem right now. So I think they should pull it out in a close one.
Yeah, I have the Cardinals winning this one too. The only thing that makes this interesting is, Belichick has a way of taking away your best player, and that secondary for New England is pretty good. So you got to wonder, are they going to try to find a way to neutralize DeAndre Hopkins in this game? I'm still playing him, but you got to wonder. But if they take him away, Larry Fitzgerald's still pretty good, as well as Christian Kirk. He can break past people, so. I still think that Kyler Murray and the Cardinals are going to be too much.
I mean, I feel like Kenyon Drake actually, since he's been back from injury.
You meant to say Chase Edmonds, but okay.
No, I said
I know.
Kenyon Drake been playing well since he came back from injury. Yeah, he's still sharing the load, obviously.
But Chase Edmonds is better.
I'm not saying that.
Chase Edmonds. Look at the stats.
The stats is there, but still, like, if you're going based off the last 2 weeks, Kenyon Drake has been the guy the last 2 weeks, honestly.
Who put up more fantasy points last week? I think his name is Chase Edmonds.
I'm still going to say Kenyon Drake.
I like Kenyon Drake. We were both pretty big on Kenyon Drake in the offseason. But I'm like you feel about DJ Moore, that's my feelings about Kenyon Drake. I think Kenyon Drake's the second best running back on that team. I like Chase Edmonds a bit more.
I guess you can say that.
Yeah, it's what it is.
It is.
All right, let me keep it rolling. My next game, if you thought my Giants Bengals stuff was bad, this one's probably worse. It's the Dolphins and the Jets. Play the Dolphins defense. I'm done. There you go. That's it. I'm done.
That was quick, man. Look,
is there something else out there that I don't know about? Because here's something. There's a chance. I don't think it's going to happen, but Myles Gaskin could be. He's activated from IR and eligible for return. If he comes back, that's interesting.
Yes,
that's interesting. But other than that, I'm not that excited. Devontae Parker, he's typically good. Jakeem Grant, if you want to, but
No.
The Jets, no. We don't know what it's going to be. It looks like they're going to try to play Sam Darnold. But Joe Flacco's been pretty good. So I don't
Yeah.
even know if that's an upgrade if you go back to Sam Darnold. And, you got Crowder there, but I don't want this. I think that Miami defense is good. And they had their first taste of defeat, so I think they're going to be coming. Well, not over the season, but since Tua's been there, they had their first loss. So I think they're going to be motivated to not let the Jets get that first win.
Well, I would say this. That was the quickest 40-second play clock session.
Hey.
Well, whatever you want to call it, I have seen since we've been doing this.
Hey.
I know. I did one. It was probably like 15. I took it down to what 25 seconds.
Yeah.
You literally was in there with like 8-9
but
seconds.
I came back. I came back with some more information,
count,
a little bit more content. I gave you some content eventually.
No,
but
it was out of there by like 9 seconds, man. Literally, I watched it. It said 31 seconds. I was like, "Jeez,
hey,
okay."
But am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong at all.
There you go.
I probably would have took 5 seconds. I would have been like, "Man, nobody else. Keep playing. I mean, keep moving. I'm done."
It's the Jets.
I guess. No. Okay. My next game is the New Orleans Saints, Denver Broncos. New Orleans should win this game. Taysom Hill, Kamara, Michael Thomas had his first 100-yard game last week. You should be happy. Drew Lock, Melvin Gordon, and Tim Patrick should be. He's been involved a lot. They say he's the number one receiver in Denver, but I'm going with New Orleans on this one. I feel like they need to get Kamara involved a little bit more. Taysom Hill stole a lot of his rushes last week, but he should be more involved this week. So we'll see. New Orleans got the win, though.
The moment I bench Michael Thomas in some leagues, he finally comes to life. So I guess that's shame on me for benching a stud, but Michael Thomas had not been a stud. I did have him in my lineup in 2 leagues, and so that was cool. But Michael Thomas is back, I guess. We'll see whether Taysom Hill can replicate it. But I got New Orleans winning that game too.
I mean, can he do it again?
The Denver Broncos beat Miami last week.
I mean,
so I guess that's gonna make them have to pass the ball more.
It's film out there. So I'm just saying, it's film.
Yeah.
You got film on it.
Hey, Taysom Hill showed he can throw, so
we'll see.
And run. So we'll see. We'll see. Hey, if he feeds Michael Thomas, I'll be happy.
You playing him this week?
Yeah, I'm gonna play him across the board this week, and he'll get like 10 yards, 1 reception. It's all good. I don't care. At this point, whatever. So let's go with the Bears. And who's going to be the starting quarterback for the Bears? Whatever. It doesn't matter. They're going to both be bad no matter who it is. So stay away from it. I do like Allen Robinson because he's the only guy that can catch on the team, apparently. And David Montgomery is supposed to be back from his concussion. And in PPR, David Montgomery is a starter every week. Standard leagues, maybe not so much. The Packers are going to win this game, though, because they're the Packers and they're better. The defense of Chicago is good, but not good enough to get around discount, double check Aaron Rodgers. So play him, play Jones, play Devonta Adams like you always do if he's healthy. I'm trying to decide whether I want to give a possible to. We saw Lazard come back. He didn't really do much, but Marquise Valdez-Scantling actually was still pretty relevant. Even with his return, I don't think I play either one of them though.
No,
not against the Bears. I think the Bears defense will be good enough to shut those guys down. So play the major studs on Green Bay.
I agree with you on that. I think Green Bay pulls this out. You just you can't go against Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has been playing really well.
Hey, he is having a season.
Yes, and he has a chip on his shoulder. He got something to prove. He's mad at the world. He's mad at everybody because they left him out of top 10 fantasy last year. Yeah. I mean, he got something to prove, so
and definitely. The Green Bay Packers dared to draft the quarterback, so he's
that made it even worse. Lord, have mercy.
He's showing everybody, I'm still relevant and will be for some time. So
so he's talking about playing past 40, so we'll see how that goes. So I'm gonna do my last game, and it's the Seahawks and the Philadelphia Eagles. obviously you playing your regular guys from Seattle, Russell Wilson, DK, Tyler Lockett. Chris Carson's back this week. For Philly, Miles Sanders, Dallas Goddard, Carson Wentz has been playing horrible. If you need to play him, like me probably, because I'm in a 2 quarterback league and I have to play him, you play him. But if you don't, you leave him on the bench or you leave him on the waiver wire. I'm picking Seattle to win this game because Philly has been playing terrible as a team. So Seattle should win this with no problem, though.
A pox upon Carson Wentz for ruining my life because I didn't want to draft him when I did, but he was available. Same thing like you said, 2 quarterback league, and he has been the bane of my existence. I hate him with everything within me. But that's another story for another day. I've got 2 more games, so while I'm doing this next one, double check your list. Make sure you didn't skip somebody. My next game is the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buccaneers. And I actually really like this game. This should be a good one. I think the Chiefs are the better team and they'll win. If they can somehow manage a pass rush, I think they'll definitely get the win. But in this one, I like the Falcons and the Raiders as a big scoring game. This is my other one I think is going to be good. The Bucs defense is good, but nobody's defense is good enough for Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. So you're playing him. I'm even playing Clyde Edwards-Helaire, of course, Travis Kelce. You play every week in Tyreek Hill. Brady, all his receivers, maybe even Antonio Brown if you have to. But I actually like Gronk this game. He's had a down game. I think he's going to really bounce back this week. So Chiefs win, and what should be a good one.
I do have one more game, so I don't know. I did this last week too. So I don't know. I don't know why I keep doing it. It is crazy. It's the same team that I always skip over.
You just don't want to do this team.
No, I just don't know. But speaking on the Bucs, I had a conversation with somebody that we know. He asked me, who should he play? He was like, should I play Brady or Jared Goff? And I was like, I would say I would play Jared Goff over Brady because anytime defense has any type of pressure from their front four,
right?
Brady, especially now, Brady can't move that well as far as like his younger days. So you see what he do when you get that pressure on him.
Right.
He doesn't play too well. And I think that's going to happen against Kansas City. I think Kansas City going to get some pressure on him, and he going to make mistakes like he did last week.
Here's a question: is y'all defense any good still?
The Niners?
Yeah.
Yeah, when we get healthy.
I mean for this week coming up against the Rams, is y'all defense good enough?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. In that case, I'm probably playing Tom Brady then. Because I can see this game being a shootout.
No.
You think Jared Goff is going to duplicate last week's production, which is definitely fine. I was just trying to see if you still had faith in your team. I guess you.
Well, I do. No, I'm gonna tell you this.
All right, go.
We're gonna beat the Rams this week, and I'm gonna tell you why. Jared, I think I gotta get it right. I think we're 6-0 against the Rams in the last 6 games.
Okay.
Jared Goff has threw for under 175 yards in the last 2 meetings that we played the Rams.
Okay.
One game he threw for like 77 yards.
Okay.
In the last game that we won actually was against the Rams, and he threw for like 135 yards. So we can beat the Rams with no problem.
But yet still you're playing Jared Goff over Tom Brady?
No, this was last week.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant this week going up.
No. This is last week.
Well, then forget everything I said then.
So this is last week. So basically what I was telling private school was he was like, but I'm hoping Brady does well. I was like, no, I'll play Goff because anytime Brady, especially the Bucs play a team with a good front four, he gets sacked, he throws interceptions, he makes mistakes. He can't get the ball off the time because he can't move that well. So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying basically that was last week.
Okay, I didn't know you were talking week 11. I thought you were still. I thought you were talking to him about this week.
No, that was just part of part of the story. So
my bad. I don't listen.
It's all good. Hey, it's all good. That's what I'm here for. But what I was saying, Kansas City can get pressure from their D line, So I think that's going to cause pressure to get after Tom Brady. and that's going to cause him to make mistakes like he did last week. Because he had 2 interceptions last week, costly interceptions on top of that. So, and you've seen when they do get pressure, he can't really do what he has been doing lately. So
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like Kansas City gonna win it just because of the fact, hey, you got Pat Mahomes. You can't leave any time on the clock for him.
Right.
If you know, but I just think that defense is gonna continue to show why Brady, at his age, should sit down somewhere because I mean he can't move no more. I mean, playing a cupcake team like the Jets or somebody who can't get that pressure, then that's something different. But if you're playing somebody like a team that can get pressure, he's no good to you. I mean, honestly. So
Here's a
that's my
question. Here's my Buccaneers question for you. This is going to be a slightly longer 40-second play clock because it's part of our live show, but it's okay. Between Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette, are you playing either one of those guys this week coming up?
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. Well, Ronald Jones. Well, Leonard Fournette scored a touchdown last week,
but that's all
but
he did.
that's all
right,
he did.
That's all he did.
I mean, you really don't know which one is gonna get the ball. It's too inconsistent with that backfield. One minute they touting out Ronald Jones saying he the guy. Then 1 minute is Leonard Fournette.
Right.
You just don't know. Like fantasy is hard enough by itself trying to figure out who you want to put in your lineup, and then you got to guess what running back gonna play this week. No, it's too late in the season one for that.
Right. The reason I told you last week, I actually dropped Leonard Fournette. It didn't work out for me because I thought with DeAndre Swift out, Adrian Peterson would get that work. Yeah. So I might as well have played Leonard Fournette to get bad production. But I'm with you. At this point, I can't trust. I don't know who's going to be the guy. So to me, neither one is the guy. So,
yeah.
Okay.
Until they make that decision on which one they want to. And that's the way the league is going right now. Yeah. They're going to a two running back system, 3 running back system. You got 3 running backs in the backfield. One could do work. You got one catching out the backfield. You got one on the first and second down. It's just.
But there's some teams that can make that work. Well, not just for who cares about their teams. I'm talking about for fantasy football players like Cleveland. You can have those 2 running backs, and it works. Washington football team that we talked about, you can have a JT McKissick and Antonio Gibson, and they both get work. Even with the Cardinals, with Kenyon Drake and Chase Edmonds, but for some reason there's certain teams, namely the Bucks, is why I brought it up. They cannot make this 2 running back thing work because neither one is good.
Well, they don't invest. Yeah. For example, with Cleveland. Kareem Hunt and Chubbs, I want to say they get the same amount of touches per week. They get about 15 to 18, but that's a run-heavy team also.
Because they have a bad quarterback, like you said.
They have a bad quarterback, so they're going to run the ball 18 times a piece. Just because, and they're going to make up, but Kareem Hunt can make up his points coming out of the backfield, catching out of the backfield. Chubb is the guy that's going to wear him down throughout the game, and it's gonna open up stuff for him. But with Tampa Bay, you got Gronk, you got all the receivers they have.
Brown, Antonio Brown, Evans, Scotty Evans, Miller some days.
Scotty Miller. You just don't know. It's too many.
Too many mouths to feed.
I said this when they got Antonio Brown. It's too many mouths to feed to say, hey, we gonna blend in these 2 running backs also. It's just not gonna work.
True.
Because these guys gonna want to get their numbers at the same time. It's just not. It's too much, really, for me. So I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't play it. That's just me.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
And I wouldn't do it. No.
All right.
So, I do have one game left.
Oh, do your game because Yeah. So let's go back to you. My bad. I was about to start my last game.
No, so
I'm jumping ahead of you. All right, go for it.
We live people, so we do this. Stuff happens. So my last game is the Tennessee Titans and the Indianapolis Colts. So you got Ryan Tannehill, who's been playing with Derrick Henry, we talked about earlier, A.J. Brown, Corey Davis. Phillip Rivers is playing okay fantasy-wise this year. Michael Pittman is actually coming along great. And we seen Jonathan Taylor do work last week. Can he continue that? We don't know. We're going to see this week. but I'm going with Indy to win this game. In a tough division matchup. It's gonna be like a bruiser here. So I think the Colts should pull this out this week because they have the better defense.
And I'm going with the Colts for that exact same reason. I've been picking against the Colts a lot and regretting it pretty much every time I've done it. So this week I'm going Colts. I love that defense.
Yeah.
And so let's go Colts and let's go Phillip Rivers to Michael Pittman Jr. Because
oh my gosh, man!
Hey, I
you
need
talking about that receiving rookie class that came out this year?
It's monster. There's a lot of noise about the running back class, but that wide receiver class is.
Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Pitt. It's crazy. Like you got these guys coming in, and they coming in day one.
Right.
And Michael Pittman, he took a little bit longer.
Like day 7, but still.
Yeah, he took a little bit longer. But like people like CeeDee Lamb, Jefferson, Brandon, these guys came in and they started immediately, and they started doing work from day one.
Yeah.
So this is a good class, man. I will say this, man, definitely.
Dynasty owners, you should be happy. You built up. You found some franchise players. So
definitely.
All right, let's end this with the Ravens at the Steelers. This is the delayed game because people can't live right. I'm going on this one, and because the Steelers are on a mission. This seems like it would be that game that the Steelers would get their first L in, but I'm not going to have it happen this week. We still don't know who the running backs are going to be for the Ravens or if they're going to be able to play by the time Sunday rolls around. Only person I'm going with on the Ravens is Lamar Jackson, only because you drafted him so high you probably have to play him, and Mark Andrews. And for the Steelers, I'm going with all the wide receivers. They've been trying their best to get James Conner in, and I think they're going to continue to try to do that this week, even against that Ravens, because the Ravens have shown that you can run on them. They're not that dangerous like they used to be. And, of course, Roethlisberger. So,
yes,
there you go.
Roethlisberger has been I don't know what he been doing like in the off season, but he looks really healthy this year.
He looks really good. And he has 3 monster wide receivers.
Oh my gosh, I'm starting to believe all along gonna crack 1,000, man.
Wouldn't be surprising. The only thing that messes up Deontay Johnson is the time he's missed, but he's making up for lost time since he's been
lying. Yeah. So he definitely can get that 1,000 though.
Yeah.
I'm and with Claypool and all them boys, they got some good receivers.
Yeah.
Keep them together. I don't know, because Juju, we remember we had this discussion.
Juju had a bad week last week, and I really think he's going to bounce back this week and put up some major points.
But what do you do with Juju in the
next
offseason?
year? Man, next year. I hope they bring him back. They say that unlike they don't use names, but unlike the other wide receiver that was there, he doesn't mind other guys getting shot. He's not a me first person like another guy who plays in Tampa Bay right now, if you don't know. And so I think they can make it work with the 3 of them. The money will be the limiting factor.
Well, you still got a couple years before that, though.
Yeah.
Because Claypool is on a rookie deal. I'm pretty sure Deontay Johnson is still on a rookie deal.
They're still young enough. I'm just saying, long term, the money is going to be the only thing that I think. I think they, as a wide receiver room, is probably pretty good, and that won't be an issue.
Well, that's the end of the 40-second play clock. This is what we do on a normal Saturday, but we blend it in to give y'all all of this work that we get.
It's Thanksgiving. We usually record that show on a Thursday, and so we wanted to give it to you. Plus, we had those 3 early. Well, it was supposed to be 3 early games, so we wanted to give it to you a little bit sooner than we would. But hey, if you've never seen the 40-second play clock, that's what you're missing every Saturday. So make sure you tune in to watch those.
Definitely. If we don't got any questions, I think that's it.
That's it. Well, we should let the audience know, of course, hit that like, subscribe button, follow us at all of our social media. And just to let you know, next week, we have some personal big things going on, which is going to stop us from recording. So we're going to put together some pre-recorded material to give you all. next week. So stay tuned for that. We'll post more about it so you'll know what's happening. But we'll still have all the fantasy information you need. You're just gonna get it a little bit different next week.
Yeah, and if you have any questions, email us. Well, not email us, but hit the RJ Fantasy Football Talk page.
Yeah.
Instagram, Facebook. We'll answer it, being that we're not going to be here next week. But we'll definitely get back with you if you got any questions, and we'll have some for you. Right. So we're going to be actually posting a lot of stuff this week, being that we're not going to be live. So,
all right. Yeah. Thanks for joining.
Right.
Peace out.
Thanks for joining. Peace out.